Hi and welcome to this Pisces inspired reading for August 2025. You can use this reading anytime it is helpful for you, or if you're just drawn to the title, then maybe this reading is for you. I am working with the symbolism of the tarot cards and with the symbolism of Western astrology to uncover layers of consciousness, to maybe find a new perspective on a situation, to find some insight. I am not a fortune teller. I'm merely working with the cards as a creative tool for self-reflection, and I hope I can assist you with finding maybe more answers to your situation. All right, let's see what wants to come out at this time. Oh wow, that is a lot of cards, and we have a Pisces card right there. Maybe we just want to take all of those because it seems like it's very Pisces oriented. King of Cups also, Page of Wands, Two of Cups in the reverse. Wow. The Page of Pentacles in the reverse, the World card in the reverse, the Seven of Wands. This is new. I've never had a reading where all these cards just want to really be here. Then outside influence is Judgment card, the Fears, the Four of Cups in the reverse, and we have these two cards as key cards. I love it. This is interesting. It's just one card more than I usually would need for the spread, but also normally I do read the bottom of the deck. So, all right, we do have a full picture here. It's maybe not even, maybe there is a full picture presenting itself in front of you that has a lot of components and that really asks you to also, I need to step back and look at the connections a little more, because when cards come out like this and they just want to be open on the table, which is normally not how I do these readings, then we might want to look at the bigger picture of something. And the bigger picture is most definitely here gaining more control and putting the focus and the discipline into gaining more control over the now, over your own world, and getting into control of your own circumstances and really putting the focus there, because this is the key position. And we have an Emperor here and the Eight of Pentacles, and he's mastering authority. That's what's happening here. We are mastering authority, and we are mastering authority through looking at the things we might not see change, and seeing also where we put ourselves in situations that confine us, or how we've come into situations that confine us and hold us back, and mastering taking this step out of there. We have a World card in the reverse. There's so much going on. This is really big. I will try to find good words for this, because this is, I might not be able to go into the singular meanings of the cards so much in this reading, but it is what it is. Coming out of the Two of Cups in the reverse, we've learned that not every connection that we make on a heart level is a connection that is in our frequency. And I think Pisces is very, very aware of that, and very, very also careful of that and curious about that. We also might have realized, and that might have matured us emotionally with the King of Cups here, that this might hold us back from really moving into a new level of experiencing our lives, into a higher level. And we might just be in that process of emotionally integrating that and master those experiences that maybe felt like, a heart connection in the moment, maybe felt like a real connection for a second, maybe felt like you can kind of go overboard to vibe with a person, but in the end it's really not very authentic. I think this is a big step in mastering your emotional life, in maturing, and in also gaining authority over your emotions, which is the King of Cups here. The Hanged Man is a Pisces card. King of Cups also, in a sense, a Pisces card. We even have 2 fish here on this card. And the Hanged Man finds himself stuck in situations, spiritually speaking also, that confine him, but at the same time strengthen him. And this is the picture that the Hanged Man is really representing or showing here. He's hanging on this wood thing, whatever that is. It's not a tree, I don't know the English word for it. And he is, for me, the question that nobody is asking really with the Hanged Man is, how did he get there? But that's really the whole lesson about this card, and the essence of this card is having that realization that first, how do we take responsibility for these positions that we find ourselves in that feel confining and restrictive, and how do we gain strength in the things we cannot change and we kind of have to accept and surrender to, and how do we finally find the control, which is represented by his red pants, and the strength and the life force within, which is also like a Kundalini type of energy that brings us back in control, which is this very red Emperor card that is also a reference to the Hanged Man card in the Crowley deck, for example, because they have the same foot or leg position. In this deck, unfortunately not, but in the Crowley deck, the Emperor is also sitting in this 4 triangle type leg position. And sorry, I need to take a break with the words. I know some people don't like that, but you know, I can't help it. I'm still also channeling energies and not just like talking for the sake of talking all the time. In the subconscious, we have the Page of Wands, who also is wearing red pants. Surprise, surprise. And this is the life force energy I'm talking about. Same pants, you guys, same pants. I love it. That is freeing ourselves from this constrained position and opening us up to new experiences, to new adventures, to the curiosity of experiencing life. The Page of Wands is a very curious, young, fresh, teenage type energy that is very driven, that just wants to have a lot of experiences. And subconsciously, we can feel that drive. We can feel that somewhat impulsive energy, somewhat open and courageous, and not risky in a bad way, but the understanding that we need to live life to be building something. You know, we need to act, we need to go into action, we need to go into the unknown, we need to figure out what we want, but we have to have experiences to do so. We don't necessarily need to really change the physical environment right now that we are in to have that. Because the Page of Pentacles in the reverse is for me a card of change in the physical environment, where we not move somewhere else, but where we want to have different results and we want to have them right now, and we want to just build and create our environment and our everyday and our 3D and maybe our money, our job, our house, etc., our health. Right now it's really just tapping into that force again, that life force, and mastering the situation at the same time and focusing on the control in the moment, I want to say, because the Emperor is the controlling authority of the whole situation. He has like a big oversight over this whole reading. The World card in the reverse, in the position we are moving into, or that's in front of us, is it makes a lot of sense to me because it means that we are just in this process of really stepping through the last little portal into this new sense of self. So we are really transforming here, and with the World card in the reverse, it for me is often just the realization that this is a big step that takes time. You know, we cannot just jump through it and then be over with. It is more like a birth process, a birthing process of a new identity, of a new reality, of a new consciousness, of a new level of experiencing life, is what I like to say with the World card. The Judgment is the card that comes before the World card. It's the calling from above that is presenting this portal into this new world. So we have this angel here on his trumpet, and it's the calling that really guides us into the right direction from above. And the last final step is this world moment. And now we might, from the outside world, from our environment, from our people surrounding us, we might finally see a clear judgment, a clear calling, a clear synchronicity also on where it is we need to go to step into this new sense of being. Seven of Wands here in our position, how we perceive ourselves, is interesting because we're really fighting for what we've accomplished, fighting for also a good attitude, also kind of defending how far we've come, and standing up for ourselves. This is a card of boundaries and also a card of being a single warrior in a sense. So when people come towards you with all their, opinions or quote-unquote opinions that are just really ego-based things, then you might find yourself in the position to have to defend yourself or to stand your ground. It's not standing your ground and defending yourself is not necessarily the same thing. When we get over defensive, then often there is a point that we can sense that there is some insecurity that we have to work on, and some people might be right, but standing your ground is more about really defending an attitude also, and a positive attitude, because the Six of Wands in general is a very positive attitude towards accomplishment, towards being accomplished, towards just feeling successful at where you are at, whatever that means for people, individually. And that's a good practice here. Also the Page of Wands, I get why the cards wanted to fall out like that, because there's a lot of connections between the pictures, where you really have to look at the bigger picture. And I think this is really the whole point of this reading. Look at the bigger picture from a place of authority with the Emperor here. The Page of Wands and the Seven of Wands kind of catch my eye because they both have a wand in his hand, and I think your instincts drive you to learn better how to defend what you've already accomplished, and how to defend a positive attitude, and how to defend a positive attitude towards life. The page is learning. The pages are always learning and evolving and trying to get better at something and gather experiences, especially the Page of Wands, because he is all about the experiencing activities. All right. This reading feels like an eternity, but it's actually still quite short. I just saw 14:14 on the clock. The fears position also makes a lot of sense to me with this Two of Cups in the reverse. The fear that we take on something out of the fear that we take offers out of the fear of missing a chance in connection, which is for me the Four of Cups in the reverse. Here he is sitting in a little bit of a, moaning position, or like isolated position, not really accepting offers on an emotional level because he feels like he's not ready to, or he has everything, or he's a little, you know, disappointed even, or bored, or he's not seeing it as anything valuable that's offered to him, this cup. When he's in the reverse, for me, I like to read this card in a way that we're taking things out of lack in a way, because we are afraid that we're missing the chance to connect. But I think that's what we're learning here, that we might just get ourselves into situations that keep us stuck without us wanting to be there, by accepting offers that are not for us on an emotional level. Wow, I want to draw one or more cards from this oracle deck just to finish this off. This is very fascinating reading. I love this. Very different, of course, for Pisces. Okay. Ooh, this is really, really jumping out here to the Two of Cups and in the reverse. Manipulation in the reverse. Yeah, we don't want to be emotionally manipulated or vice versa. And I think this is now deeper realization, spiritual moment of learning when it comes to emotional bonds, which does not have to be necessarily a romantic thing, but of course it can be. We want to first of all look within ourselves, how we get ourselves into situations where we feel like this is the case, and how we are part of the problem. It doesn't mean we are the problem, doesn't mean we are responsible for it. It's just like, how am I part of this problem, that this dynamic is even possible, and then gets me into a whole situation where I feel like I'm stuck, not getting out of it. Wow, big lessons to learn, but very important. The Emperor. I cannot make this up, you guys. I mean, I don't know how often I used the word authority, and I have to think about Cartman in South Park. What is he saying? Don't question my authority. It came out with the Emperor. I wanted to put it to the Emperor card, and yes, you are the authority of your own life, and this is what you're really focusing on and mastering and working on right now. And of course, when we want to be the authority of our own life, we cannot give people as much power to be like, but well, he or she manipulated me and I didn't know. Yes, that happens. Yes, we have those lessons. Yes, we do have to go through those lessons. It doesn't mean it didn't happen, but at some point we've hopefully learned, and we still might make mistakes, but we know better. And stepping into that authority is of course a very big step, and being like, well, I'm gonna take the lead in those situations. And I'm going to take the lead, especially when it comes to maybe saying no, you know, saying no to offers, saying no to things that are not of emotional value to me, because this Emperor is really looking at this Four of Cups in the reverse. And he's really glancing at it. And he's understanding better when to say no. Also, an Emperor has to say no a lot, because otherwise things just fall apart. And we don't want that. So wow, a huge maturing process on an emotional level here, and a very powerful reading for Pisces. So thank you for being here. Please check out my description box and see how you can support this channel or order a reading, and also like, subscribe, comment, of course, is the most supportive thing you can do. And I hope I'll see you next time. And until then, I hope you have a great August, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.